And number 2, we're solving for A. To isolate A, you're going to subtract 5 from both sides. And the reason I subtracted it is because it's a positive 5. So we're going to take it away. It'll cancel out. A is less than 3. And if you can't understand it that way, then rewrite it with the variable first. A, look how this arrow is pointing. Look how this inequality symbol is pointing. It's closed towards the A. So when you rewrite it, close it towards the A. A is less than 3. Now, this number line doesn't match this problem because I changed it to be all positives. So we have to draw our own number line. 0, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be an open circle on 3. And you're going to shade to the left. And we'll probably have the same situation with number 3. Look up to check your work. I draw this line just to keep the sides separated. But make sure that you write down the entire problem because it helps when you are trying to see the inequality that needs to be grasped. You're trying to isolate the variable s, and it is being subtracted by 3. So you perform the opposite operation. If you can't understand the inequality written reversed, then write it back to its original form. Pay attention to how the inequality is written. It's close to the S, so close it to the S. Again, the number line does not fit, so write your own number line. Also understand that although there are only whole numbers on this number line, 14 will not be a solution. 14 will not work. However, 13.9 will. Any questions so far? Is this process working for you?
Yes.
All right, go down to number 4. Be sure you write the entire problem like you are a high school algebra student. Although you can do the work in your head, write it down because you need to understand what the inequality is at the end of the problem. Again, if you don't understand it written in reverse order, write it in its original form and pay attention to how the inequality is open towards the variable or how it's closed towards the variable. Oh, and this number line works. Open circle, shade to the right. Now, other solutions, because the assessment might ask you what are other solutions that will work that are not whole numbers. 19.5, 20 and a half, 15.2. Oops. 15.2 are solutions. Put that on your paper for me. So if you're asked about what solutions will work, know that you will have to solve the inequality to determine what solutions will work. You can also substitute the values in, but the most efficient way is to solve to determine what solutions will work. And I must reiterate again that all of the values in between the whole numbers are solutions. So although there are only whole numbers shown on the number line, there are an infinite number of solutions because this number line goes on. And in between 10 and 11 are an infinite number of smaller numbers. Are there any questions? Okay, this page is multiplication and division. So I'm going to separate it again. The word goes at the bottom. Same process as before. 45 is greater than or equal to 5K. This is multiplication. So to solve it, we divide both sides by 5. And K is going to be greater than or equal to 9. I'm sorry. K is going to be less than or equal to 9. And I'm going to write it in reverse order. K is less than or equal to 9. So on the number line that I have to draw my own because this one is only negatives, it will be a closed circle on 9. And since all the solutions are less than or equal to 9, I am going to shade to the left. All right, next problem. Any questions? D divided by 7 is greater than 6. Get rid of division by multiplying both sides by 7. It will cancel out on the left. You'll be left with D is greater than 42. Don't use this number line because it's negatives and the numbers are not in the right order. So we'll draw our own number line. I should have started at maybe 40.
Do they have a number line on the test?
Yes, I think so. Open circle on 42. Shade to the right. All right, number 3 on your own. Any questions on number 3? Okay, let's move on to number 4. This one is reversed and the inequality is close towards the Z. So I'm gonna write it with the inequality close towards the Z. Z is less than or equal to 35. I have to create my own number line. And then this last one, same type, still reversed. So I'm going to rewrite it. The inequality is close towards the A. Reverse everything. Open circle. Shade to the left. These are the types of problems I did with the tiny little car sitting in the front of the room that cost $500, and I went to the car lot with $150, and I was gonna pay how much a week? $150 a week? $75 a week. Thank you. I was gonna pay $75 a week. Thank you. Yeah, the car was $500, and I went to the lot with $150, and I was gonna pay $75 per week. So these are those types of problems. Oh, and we said it was gonna take us about 4 or 5 weeks to pay for it. You all remember that whole scenario? All right, so these are those types of problems. Okay, so on number 5, Tyler needs at least $205. So at least means that he needs what? What's the inequality symbol for at least?
Is it less than or equal to?
You got to be at least, you need at least a 90 to move to the next.
Oh, yeah, greater than.
Greater than or equal to $205. Write that on your paper. That's the total amount, just like with equations. He already saved $30. That's his initial value. Already has means that's money that he already has, so that's a plus sign. Here comes a rate. $7 an hour, $7 per hour, 7H. Right? And solve an inequality to find how many hours he will need to work to buy the system. So now we have the inequality. Do you all see how I pulled the pieces from the word problem? That should not have been strange to you. We've done this, but we haven't done it with the inequality. So the inequality is 7H plus 30 is greater than or equal to 205. The first thing we're going to do is take away the money that he already has because he's showing up with that $30. The 205 minus the 30 is 175. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to write the problem down. I'm going to draw my little line to keep the sides separated. So he's showing up with the $30. So he's going to go ahead and pay that $30. Once he pays that $30, he will owe $175. Go ahead and bring down your inequality symbol. That $175 is going to be paid over 7 weeks. I'm sorry. Yeah. That $175 he's going to work every hour and earn $7 to pay it. He's gonna have to work 25 hours. He's gonna have to work more than or at least 25 hours in order to make that 175 for that game system. So the solution is greater than or equal to 25. The interpretation is must work, and here it is right here, at least 25 hours. He won't have any money left over, but he'll have his game system. If he worked more hours, then he'll have money left to get to work. That was funny. I got a game system, but I don't have a way to get to work. Maybe his mom will take him. All right, the next problem. Oh, he can rent a car. All right, a car rental company charges. This is a nice little already done for us. Can somebody tell me how to write this one? Just that first part. 45 plus 20 cents per mile. It's already written for us. How do we write it? Go ahead, Max.
45 plus like 20
Point to what?
per hour.
How do we write it?
And
Yeah, M. He does not want to spend more than $100. How do we write that as an inequality? Less than or equal to 100. Okay, so once he show up at the rental car place, how much does he need to give them? Tammy, how much does he need to give them?
45?
He needs to give them $45 off the top. Because they're going to charge you the $45 off the top. The 100 minus the 45, is that $55? 45 and 55?
Yeah. Wait, no, it's 45. 45. No. Yeah, let's get 55.
55.
55.
45 exactly. 55.
Okay. Now, I need to isolate the variable M, so I'm going to divide that $55 by 0.20 cents per mile that Tyler needs to drive, that his dad's going to rent a car for him. Call Tyler. He can drive 275 miles in that car. M, he can drive less than or equal to 275 miles in that car. So when you interpret the solution, he doesn't want to spend more than 100. Well, then he can drive no more than 275 miles. No more than 275 miles. Okay, try 22 on your own and see if you can come up with the correct inequality for it. Okay, so for this problem, I was not sure if I had my inequality symbol correct. So what I did was I solved it mentally and I took the $5 away from the $26, right? So I said 3h plus 5 equals 26. And I subtracted the 5, I got 21. And I divided it by 3 and I said, okay, I know h would be 7. If she worked the 7 hours, she would have the $26. But if she wants to make a profit, let's say she worked 8 hours. If she worked 8 hours, she would have more than the $26. That's a profit. So then I kind of felt like I had the inequality symbol correct. So do you all agree with my inequality? That's the question. Because if it's less than $26, I don't think she'll make a profit. Because if she only works 2 hours, she won't make the $26. Agree? All right. Finish this one and bring it back tomorrow. And we'll continue this and start our review.